I am gonna poop on something. I just need my outline to come up.
Please don't shit on this.
I'm literally defecating.
Is Jax home, or is he gonna come home during the recording?
He probably will not come home during the. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once.
He's never coming back. Actually,
we are divorced, and that's that. No, he's at work till 10.
Oh, okay. We got time. It's gonna be fine.
I hope some of this makes it into the final cut.
Probably most of it, because I'm fucking lazy. So I'm just gonna be like, welcome. Here we go. We haven't even decided on intro music, but welcome to the plus size section. So you know what? I love this. Let's talk about why we are starting this podcast. Haley, why did you sign on to do this podcast with me?
Well, I signed on to do this podcast with you because I'm obsessed with you. No, for real, it seemed like a good idea. It seemed like a vibe. And I feel like there's not like a ton of representation like of fat people in general in the media, but discussing fat experiences and it not being like toxic positivity or like a total fucking sob story. Like I feel like we can accommodate both and just kind of show real lives, you know?
Yeah, we can accommodate toxic positivity in here, and we can accommodate soft stories. You're gonna get both in this space, people. You're gonna get both.
You know what I mean.
I know. No, I think the reason that I wanted to start this podcast was honestly like when I went on that retreat, it was all about occupying the same space as thin body people and giving yourself the same experience that they like automatically give themselves. So I was like, you know what? Like there's so many like mid-sized, thin-bodied, like what society quotes like normal sized people podcasts. And I was like, I'm gonna start a podcast with my best friend Haley. And we're gonna talk about what it's like to be fat bodied, the experiences that you have, the experiences that you don't allow yourself to have, the I guess like discrimination that you can face as a fat bodied person. Just the whole package that comes with being like one of the most hated body types in society. Like the butt,
Oh yeah.
the butt of every joke, like all of it. The simple, like we talked about, like the existing as a fat body person, the glorifying obesity that comes along with that. Like literally, like we're gonna like release this episode and just be like, yeah, like so we're two fat body people. We're here to start a podcast, and I guarantee we're gonna get a comment. Stop romanticizing obesity. I
gotta tell you, dude, you romanticize the shit out of obesity in that TikTok.
I really did.
Beautiful.
Yeah, with Brian with the leaf blower, like flip your hair. Like,
he's the best. That's so funny.
So funny. Brian's my husband, everybody. We will be talking about our husbands during this podcast. We are two married old crones, and our husbands are our biggest hype girls. So you're going to hear Brian, which is my husband, and Jax, which is Haley's husband's names, a lot. Hopefully you can get to know them, and they'll be on an episode in the future. So, Haley, why don't you tell our listeners about you?
Well, I don't want to.
Well, I'm sure they are. I'm sure most of them already follow you at Unapologetically Haley on Instagram and TikTok, as well as their herbalism.
And there's an extra Y on TikTok.
Is there an
But
extra Y?
yeah, Pele.
Hello?
But all right. So, as Sam said, we are a couple of old people. I am 31 and I live in West Virginia, born and raised. I got the yee yee in me. I as far as fatness goes, I have been fat since I was 4. At least that's what I've been told. But fat as long as I can remember.
That's what the history books say. Since she was 4 years old.
She plumped up. But I've been married for almost 2 years now. My husband is not also fat. He's a string bean. Um, and I had bariatric surgery about 10 months ago. I'm down 175 pounds in total, but I'm still fat, and I like it.
Betraying her people. Betrayal. I'm just kidding. We're gonna talk about that in another episode. Do not take that seriously.
Wait, which people? My ancestors or
Yeah.
the church? Okay. I'm still big.
You're
God,
tall.
I'm damn near 6 feet tall.
You're tall. I remember first, like, because me and Haley started out as internet friends, everybody. Shout out to the person that introduced us. We're still going strong. Thank you. We started out as internet friends, and when I first met them, I was like, "Damn, that's a big bitch!" Like, because of their height, y'all. She's so tall, and I'm 5'2", and I was like, what in the world? To the point where my husband literally was like, maybe I'm not 6 feet. I'm like, you are not 6 feet. You're on her shoulder. Like, no.
I'm used to having short friends, so your height didn't surprise me. But
wow.
That was the first time I ever humbled a man.
You humbled a man so quickly.
At least in terms of height. Love Brian very much, but I enjoyed it.
To the point where he went to his dad. It was like, bro, there's no way you're 6 feet. Like, you humbled a generation.
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good intro for me.
Is that a good intro for you? Okay.
Do we think I need more?
Yeah, what's your big 3?
Oh, my big 3. I'm a Sagittarius sun, Virgo rising, Pisces moon. So I think all of this is starting to make sense.
Yeah, everybody leave in the comments how you feel about that. Like, let us. I think that was a really good intro. I'm probably gonna like copy and paste it. Okay. Ready? About me, your second host. I am at Sam Rose Realness on Instagram and TikTok. I used to be the warm-hearted witch. That used to be Mini Moods. I'm 31, like Haley. I started my internet journey with a crystal jewelry business on TikTok that I love very much and got an amazing community around. And then my guides were kind of like, we're done with that. You know, start talking about your spiritual services. And then I went into being the warm-hearted witch, which then I was like, I'm hiding behind my witchcraft. So then it became Sam Rose Realness. I've been big since, I want to say, I think like if you look at the childhood photos that everybody gets, right? Like kindergarten, so like 6, she's thin-bodied. Yeah. She's thin-bodied, beautiful bangs, beautiful hair. Something happened between 6 and 7, because you can see like the like first grade photo, she plumped up. So I guess
She
like since
healthy.
she's healthy, her ancestors really popped in and was like, "You're gonna last the winter," you know. You can harvest. So I would say since I was 7, been big bodied. Been married for 7 years now. This August. Oh, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, that's the noise I wanted. Yes. I am also in a mixed sized relationship. My husband is also thin bodied. We're gonna have an episode on that about what it's like to be in mixed sized relationships and how people perceive you and all the stereotypes with it. I am the youngest. I'm the baby of the family. I'm like looking at Haley's outline, like, what didn't they talk about that I'm going to talk about?
Oh man,
I know.
I thought we were gonna have like the what makes us spicy section. You're just like blowing on through it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, we're gonna talk about what makes us spicy in a second. Okay, so like look at Haley's outline, it's so good, and I didn't do one. So I guess like my day job, Haley is a graphic designer.
Yes, I
10
am.
years of experienced graphic designer in their day job. I'm a professional tarot reader, so it's a little bit different. I work out of a tattoo shop doing tarot and Reiki. And
You're
right
also
now,
a badass social media marketer.
okay.
You've always had a knack for that.
All right. Trying to be. Keeping up with TikTok is like a journey. I feel like Instagram's more demanding than TikTok right now, to be honest, but we can get into that in a second. That's for a different episode. And then I guess I'm trying to think of like the last. Oh, right now I'm all about having and living experiences in the body that you live in right now. So that's kind of like my main mission. Anytime I get a DM of people being like, "Oh, I bought this dress because of your content," or "I went out and I did something," like I went to the mall by myself because of your content, like that keeps inspiring me to keep making it, of being like, if you want to lose weight, like I'm proud of you, lose weight, but I don't want you to like stay at home and not have any experiences until you get that dream body. Like go out and have experiences in the body that you live in right now, take up space, occupy the same space as thin-bodied people, have the same experiences as thin-bodied people, and don't hold yourself back because of your size. So that's the vibe I'm on right now, and that's how we got to this podcast.
Honestly, I love that vibe. It's so true though. Like we wasted so much time being afraid of what people would think and feeling like we had to be thin to do certain things and wear certain things.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad that we figured it out at 30 and not like 50. 30. But we're still here.
Yeah. I want 13-year-old girls and guys and they them like listening to this podcast being like, oh, like I can go out and do this and occupy the same space as like my friends and not feel like I have to be the butt of the joke. Like, no, bro, like you don't have to take that shit just because you're a bigger bodied person. Like, go out and do it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I would have never done that. I was a zip up hoodie emo kid when I was 13, like trying to hide my body, you know? I don't want them to do that. So, what makes you spicy? What's the extra dash that Haley has?
Well, I am, like I said, I'm from West Virginia. I classify myself as a y'alternative. I got that dog in me, as my brother would say. But I was also diagnosed with ADHD last year. Shout out to Vyvanse. Sponsor me, Vyvanse. I love you. But I am the oldest. I'm the oldest child, the firstborn daughter in a conservative Southern kind of family. So, yeah. If you've seen any TikToks about it, It's true. Everything is correct. My mom is going to call me.
I'll listen to you.
How dare you?
I'll listen to your podcast, baby, and can we talk about it?
Oh, goodness. But yeah, I am also a recovering binge eater and recovering fucked up relationship with food haver. And I mean, I was born in 1991, so I had to grow up through the 2000s. You know the vibes. It was horrible.
The vibes.
And to you.
Oh, okay. And to me, like my phone lit up and I'm like, hello? Like, all right. I am also are we phoning a friend right quick? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also a spicy ADHD haver. Diagnosed at 13, ADHD. So that's I guess my little extra spice other than being the youngest sibling, which is different. Like we have a little different dynamic. I'm the baby of the family. I have an older Sagittarius sister. Love her, obviously. Ride or die. And I am also real big into, of course, the occult and anything witchy. That was something that, oh god, I hit my mic. Sorry, everybody. Editor, fix that. Editing.
Future Samantha.
Future Samantha, make sure that it didn't make a weird noise. Down for everything witchy. I feel like my practice is a little more traditional than most. I don't share a lot of it online. My TikTok tends to be just like little trending sounds and little quick videos and just making funny videos. Humor is my coping mechanism. Thank you. Born and raised in a queer household.
Should I cue up that TikTok soundboard thing and play that?
We need it. Like we need our own like soundboard. Yeah, because definitely born and raised in a queer household. And you were born in a conservative household. I was born in like
such a different vibe.
Yeah, very much like come as you are type of household. The best household personally, but yeah, I feel like that's what I'm trying to think about, like what makes me spicy. I'm just super awkward, but in the best ways. Also a recovering binge eater. I've been struggling with that a little bit just because, life. Not going to get into all that here. I don't know how long our first episode is going to be. We will see. May get bariatric surgery, may not. Been going back and forth as Haley knows with it. Like, I want to do it, but I'm also super scared. My mental health tells me that maybe I won't be successful.
You would be if you decide it's right for you.
Right. And we're going to...
The funny thing is, I was not even considering bariatric surgery for myself until you talked about it. Like, you changed my mind on the perspective, because I was very much against it. I think it was ignorant opinions, but you opened my mind up to it, and then my back exploded. And I was in chronic pain every day. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'd made the decision at that point, but it like reaffirmed that was the right choice for me.
Yeah.
But if not for like pain and limited abilities and stuff, I probably would have never done it.
Yeah. I go back and forth with it. Like I was so close to getting it, and then I was like, "We're gonna bail out. We're gonna bail out." I bailed out so quickly. But I do I think eventually that's what's gonna be my future. Anyways, so that's what makes us spicy. Do you want to talk to them about just like a summary of your experience as a fat-bodied person?
Yes. I've been looking for that filter on TikTok with the soundboard on it, but I didn't save it, so of course it's hard to find.
Of course.
Anyway, so my experience as a fat-bodied person. I feel like my I feel like my experiences have kind of been like all over the place. Like there are some things that I see online that I like hard relate to, and then others like not as much. Like I feel like being self-conscious about my weight and how I move through space like in public, I absolutely have a lot of like anxiety about that. But at least as far as I'm aware, I have never been like harassed for like taking up a lot of space or like ridiculed for, being too fat for an airplane seat. The flight back from seeing you comes to mind because I was still at my highest weight and like it was a packed plane. But the guy next to me was super nice.
As I like burp and blow. Sorry, I'm trying to be like so pretty. And
Hot.
I'm like,
But yeah, I guess it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like being fat has obviously shaped my life in a lot of ways, but I think it's a little different, like growing up around, and I feel like we both have this experience, like growing up around a lot of heavy people. Like my parents are heavy, my brother somehow is not, but everyone else in my family is pretty big. Um, and because of that, like I wasn't necessarily ostracized from them for my size, but I got a lot of like oh, we're worried about your health, you might get diabetes in the future, like stuff like that really gave me a complex about my health and food over the course of my life. And I definitely internalized that, and it's been hard to unlearn. But I think the biggest, I don't know, I feel like I'm definitely rambling, but whenever I lived back home, when I lived back home, I got like no attention from boys, like got no play in high school, and I moved away for college, and then all of a sudden it was like I was fucking hot.
yeah.
Everybody wanted a piece of this, and I didn't really know how to handle it at first, but it felt nice to be wanted. But that also meant that I gave a lot of dudes the time of day that really weren't worth my time.
Mm.
I know we both relate
We can
to that.
relate to that. We can both relate to that. Absolutely.
Yes. And after college, I feel like it was around the same time as like the body positivity movement started like popping off, and I learned a lot about just that movement itself, like accepting myself as I am, and maybe getting to a place of body neutrality, or at least maybe apathy towards my body, like not hating myself every day for being fat, just kind of like it was what it was and I didn't care. But then COVID kind of changed everything because I gained 70 pounds in the first year at home, and that was what kicked off all of my chronic pain issues. And that's why I got bariatric surgery in the first place. Like I was just tired of feeling like shit, and I couldn't work out at the size that I was. I just kept hurting myself, like hurting my back. So no regrets on that. But I wish I didn't have to go through like the shitty pain part.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see you like just like as your friend, like where you're in a state of like you're constantly in pain, you're constantly miserable, and then like seeing you kind of like blossom after the surgery, just because the fact that you're no longer in the sheer amount of pain that you were in.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just, it wasn't about like how you viewed your fatness. It was more about how your body felt.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that that's something that's really important that we're going to talk about in future episodes of like, hey, like we are not anti-fat, like
no,
at all. But we're also like fatness affects your body, each body so differently. And if somebody is in pain like you were, and they're like, hey, the only way you are going to get relief is to lose weight, then that's what you need to do for your body, right?
Yeah.
Like with my body, and that's like the intentional weight loss. Like with my body, before I lost a little bit of weight, I wasn't having menstrual cycles. I wasn't menstruating. And
Mm-hmm.
when I lost a little bit of weight, a little bit of pressure, was able to get off my uterus, and then it was like, oh, we're going to give you all the menstrual cycles in the world for 4 freaking months. Like, you're going to want to die. Like, it's a nightmare. I'm still going through it. Like, but that's what my body needed. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can be 400 pounds and your body, you're not in pain, you're functioning at a healthy, all of your bodily functions are happening healthily, like, live your best freaking life at 400 pounds. Like, no one
Absolutely.
is, we're definitely not going to shame you for being that. This is a place of acceptance, and you can come as you are.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of twofold of like, don't in this space shame people that have to lose weight intentionally because their body requires it. Right. It just,
Yeah.
that's what that individual person needs. And I think that's kind of what makes us different. And I am going to like do a little disclaimer here. Like, guys, we're going to say the wrong things sometimes. Like, let's just be real. We're going to try to be as sensitive as we can. We're going to try to be as politically correct as we can, be as inclusive as we can. But
Mm-hmm.
we are two humans, 31 years old, still learning every single day. We're going to say the wrong things. We're going to make mistakes. We may offend you. We may not offend you. You know what I mean? Like, our goal and like this kind of goes into the next section of like what people can expect of us, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our goal with this podcast is to be as inclusive and loving as we can for the fat community, the fat bodied community, for anybody that has dealt with body image issues. But we are also two very traumatized individuals in this space. Like, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to say the wrong things sometimes because we are also unlearning this, what society has done to us. So
Mm-hmm.
we are listening. Give us a little bit of grace. Come on the journey with us and know that, like, we're trying our best in that moment. We are not professional podcasters. This is our first episode. Like, give us some time to grow. Give us some time to learn. Like, join the journey with us because we're trying, okay? We're trying.
Literally, like me 3 years ago when we first met, I would have rather peeled my skin off than do this. Like, it's honestly, that is proof of the transformation that I've had in itself. Like, I would have never done something like this. I was so afraid and so, like, just held myself back. And, like, for what? Like we were talking about earlier, like, we have just as much right to sit here and talk some shit as thin people do.
Absolutely.
What are we so afraid of?
Perception, being perceived, like literally being perceived. And that kind of goes into my experiences as a fat body person of just the sheer amount of like hiding I've done, and being that comedic relief, being that fat funny friend. Like, we've had similar but like different experiences. Like, I've always had to mask, and I've always had to take on other people's personalities to the point where I'm just like, what do I like? You know, like, be that like funny friend or the golden child of like doing what my parents wanted and doing what my friends wanted. Luckily, I have been blessed that I haven't had any issues when it comes to like finding a partner, but it's like you said, the type of partners that are available to fat body people aren't always the right partners, aren't always the healthiest people with the healthiest mindsets. And I feel like that could be said for like any body type, to be honest. Dating can kind of be a nightmare in general, but you know, my family has always very much been the same way of like, my mom, you know, bless her heart, will always be like, I tried with you, like, I tried to get you on Weight Watchers, and you know, I got rid of all the junk food and tried to like do what I could for you. And it's like, yeah, like, and I appreciate obviously her for like trying to give me quote unquote a healthy lifestyle, but the call was definitely coming from like inside the house, you know. Like, my hormones, obviously, like medical issues contribute a lot to my weight. PCOS, shout out to my PCOS people. We in this ride together. But it's an inflammation thing. It's a medical thing for that contributes to a lot of mine. And that wasn't recognized until like a couple of years ago, like it really was seen as like laziness, and it didn't matter like how much I worked out or the calorie deficit I was in. It was always like just not good enough. And that's kind of part of like my fat bodied experiences. It doesn't matter. Like even the TikTok I posted, like I could literally have posted that in the gym and someone would be like, why are you glorifying obesity? And it's like, I'm literally doing what you expect me to do because I'm physically able to do it. I'm able bodied enough to be in the gym. So it's just like, I imagine people that can't, and it's like the ridicule and the hate. And it's like, it doesn't matter what fat people do, it's never going to be enough.
We can't win.
You can't.
So we might as well just do what we want to.
Yeah, I was literally watching like a TikTok by Drew, and they were like, oh, like even when fat people aren't in the conversation, they're brought into the conversation. Like even if it's not about being fat, like someone brings in fatness.
Yes.
And I'm like, God, that's so true. Like, and that's part of the fat experience of just like simply existing and being brought into things that aren't about you. And in high school, like I didn't really have like a clique or anything like that. And it was very much like I was everybody's friend, but like also like nobody's friend, definitely had like as I go older, like the moped life, like everybody wants to ride, but nobody wants to be seen riding it, that type of thing. And then luckily as I got older, like, and now in my 30s, like getting a lot more comfortable with my fatness, getting more comfortable and embracing my body, and just stuff like that. But I think that it just shows how hard it is even today of like, as a younger person, I feel like fatness is still seen as laziness, seen as gross, seen as like ugly. And I just think that that's absolutely ridiculous, seeing how like there's so many more bigger people. Like, like it's either like I just don't even know what to say about it, but I guess that's like
that could be a whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
we could talk for hours.
So I guess I'm just gonna wrap up about like my fat experience. And since we're already almost at the hour, we'll see how many people are still with us, but let's talk about what they can expect of us and expect of this podcast.
Well, I think that they can expect us to always do our best.
Yes. Yes.
We're two Earth Risings here. We're always going to try really hard.
Really hard, guys. I'm going to try so hard.
I think honestly what you were saying earlier, like about us making mistakes, like I don't think people should expect mistakes, and please don't expect us to be the type of people that are like, well, if you're offended, suck my dick. Like that's not what this is.
That's not what this is.
We're just not perfect.
We're not. But
speaking for myself, like I think if every fat person that listens to this can take a load off, like emotionally, like take some good out of it, maybe feel a little less alone, that would be amazing to me. Like you said, like if some teenager somewhere that just hates how they look can see that two people who hated themselves for way too fucking long can be okay with themselves, like themselves, even sometimes love themselves, like it really does get better.
It really does. Like that's on facts, guys. Like that's on facts. Like it really does get better. I think that being in my 30s, I was so scared to be 30, but as getting older, I'm enjoying life a lot more than I thought I ever could. Like,
yeah,
in my 20s, I was like, oh, like living my best life. This is so amazing. But like 30, I'm like, no, like I'm really glad I'm still here because it does get a lot better. And you're right. Like moving forward, we're obviously going to talk about the experience of the different things that come with like as a package deal of being a fat body person. We're also going to share other people's experiences being fat bodied. We're going to share spirituality because we're both very spiritual people. Haley is an incredible herbalist, has their own herbalism brand, which is
Appalachian Solstice.
Appalachian Solstice.
Find me on Instagram and Etsy.
Instagram and Etsy. Yes, you're so good at it. You're so good at it.
I feel like that's my TISM thing, is like replicating music.
I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. So like we're obviously going to share more than just the fat experience, but the main core of this whole podcast is basically to take up space and to really be seen as equals with other quote unquote normal bodied individuals. Like two fat bodied people can have a podcast, can have their own opinions, can have topics that matter, can share what matters to them, share what they love, build a community, get closer with people online. Like we can do all of that in the bodies that we have right now. We're no longer holding ourselves back, and you guys shouldn't either, especially no matter the size of your body. So I think that that's a great ending to the first episode. We'll see how this goes, guys. We'll see what gets in and what doesn't. Yeah. But please find us on Instagram. Haley is unapologetically Haley. I am Sam Rose Realness, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining us.
See you later, guys.
See you later.